Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today I'm going to be doing my November wrap up. This is going to be all about the 15 books I read this month. So before I get into wrapping them up, let's go into stats. This month I read 15 books. 4.5 were audiobooks and 10.5 were physical books. I read 6 YA books, which is a ton for me, and 9 adult. 14 of the books were by female authors and 1 was by a male author. I had 5 5 stars, 5 4 stars, 3 3 stars, 1 2 star, and 1 that I haven't rated yet because I haven't quite finished it. I'm filming this just a couple days after Thanksgiving, so I have full confidence that I will finish this book in November, but I haven't finished it yet, so I don't have a final rating for you. And the genres that I read this month were 2 romance, 1 historical fiction, 1 horror, 1 contemporary, and 10 thrillers. I was really in my thriller bag this month and I read so many thrillers that I really loved, so I can't wait to tell you guys about them. So let's go ahead and get into the books. I will start with the one that I haven't quite finished yet. Like I said, there's still a few more days in the month, and the book that I'm reading right now is pretty long, so I think I will only finish this for the rest of the month. I'm really enjoying taking my time, drawing it out, and reading it, and that is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Ooh, we match. I really love this book. It's a historical fiction about a young girl whose family moves to Alaska and she's kind of trying to adapt and find her place. I'm about halfway through and I'm really loving it, so I can see it definitely being a 5 star. It's very atmospheric for this fall going into winter time because it is set in Alaska, and I really love our main character and it's going really well. So I will definitely give you more information about this in my December wrap up, but for now I will let you know that I will finish this in November and I'm really liking it, which is pretty surprising. I'm not usually a historical fiction gal. Next up, I will quickly go over the books that I read for the Hannah Montana readathon. Oh my god, I cannot believe that happened this month. Is time just going fast or what? I don't know, but it feels like that happened so long ago. But if you haven't seen my vlog for the readathon that I hosted all about Hannah Montana, I will link it up here and down below. The books that I ended up reading in that vlog are the one by John Mars, and I gave this book 5 stars. It is a dystopian sci-fi thriller about if a DNA service could tell you who your soulmate is and chaos ensues. I also read I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh in that vlog, and I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. It is a thriller about a woman who witnesses her son die in a hit-and-run car accident. It is super twisty and I highly recommend. For my full thoughts on all these books, go ahead and watch that vlog, but I could talk about these books forever, but I already did in that vlog, so if you want to know more, definitely go watch that. But these last 2 were Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, which I gave 5 stars. It follows these 2 girls who are half-sisters, but they do not know about each other, and they only find out about each other when their father dies in a plane crash. And finally, in that Hannah Montana readathon vlog, I read What You Wish For by Catherine Center. It is a romance about a school librarian and a teacher, and it is so cute. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't the best Catherine Center that I've read, but it was really sweet and really fun. So for more in-depth thoughts, like I said, go check out that vlog. And now I will get into other things. Another book that I read for a vlog this month was November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I posted this vlog on November 9th, so if you haven't seen it, again, I will link it up here and down below. If you want to hear my in-depth thoughts and get my rating, go ahead and watch that video. But basically, this book is about a couple who meets on November 9th, and they basically fall in love. It's insta-love, but kind of in a good way, and they don't want to start a relationship because one of them is about to move across the country and they don't want to start, you know, doing long distance. So instead they decide to meet up just every November 9th for the next 5 years, see if it actually works out and they can sustain their connection over that time. I cried. This book really wrecked me. Spoiler alert, I loved it, and go watch that vlog if you want to see me cry. Next up this month, I finished out the Truly Devious trilogy, and I read The Hand on the Wall and The Vanishing Stare by Maureen Johnson. I ended up giving The Vanishing Stare 4 stars and The Hand on the Wall 5 stars. I loved the last 2 books in this series. I actually liked both of these better than Truly Devious itself. I thought, you know, once you've established the characters, there's not a lot of exposition to these books. You kind of just jump into the mystery and are figuring things out and wading through the drama the whole time. And I really enjoyed that. I did give this 4 stars because I feel like it was pretty boring. I even listened to this on an audiobook and I was following along with the physical book, and I was still, you know, having trouble getting through it, but I did really like the overall story, so I ended up still giving it 4 stars. And the last book in the series, The Hand on the Wall, was absolutely phenomenal. I was just enraptured by this book the entire time. I listened to half of this book on audio when I was driving home from visiting my family on Thanksgiving, and then half I finished reading physically, and I really liked reading it both ways. I was like into the book and like driving like this when I was driving home listening to the audiobook because it was so good. I'm so obsessed with this book. And this whole Truly Devious series, you guys, we found some YA mysteries that I actually like. Alert the presses. Amazing. As for all of the other YA books that I read this month, they did not go so well. I ended up filming a reading vlog where I was reading 2 super hyped up mystery thrillers of the YA variety. I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes and They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. You'll have to watch that vlog to hear my complete and full thoughts. But basically, this book is like a Knives Out kind of situation where a girl unexpectedly gets a huge inheritance from a wealthy man who has died. But to get it, she has to figure out these weird riddles and play these weird games with the jilted family members he has left behind. And as for this book, it follows a group of popular private school kids who are kind of reeling 4 years after one of the friends in their friend group was murdered by her boyfriend, and now it seems like the boyfriend might be innocent, so it's kind of shaking up their entire world. And we're following our main character as she tries to discover the true killer.
Spoiler alert, I guess the killer in chapter 3, and this was really boring.
So go watch that vlog if you want to hear me utterly smash these books to shreds and pick them apart because they were extremely average and honestly had some less than average elements to them. So I did do a lot of critiquing in that video, and I think I have some really valid commentary. So I really encourage you guys to watch that. I think it will be up. If it's not already up, it will be the next video that I post. So be on the lookout for that. Also this month, I read the Housewarming by S.E. Lines. This is an arc that I got from NetGalley. So thank you to NetGalley for that. It follows a mother whose child went missing while she was upstairs, you know, folding laundry really quickly. She left her little baby daughter just strapped into her buggy, and she comes back downstairs to get her and go on a walk, and the buggy is there, but she is not, and the front door is wide open. So she goes on blaming herself for her daughter's disappearance for so long, thinking she's a horrible mother. And then a year later, she goes to this housewarming party for one of her neighbors. And while she's around all of her neighbors, she starts figuring out that these neighbors know a lot more about what happened that day than they said to the police initially. It is a super twisty thriller. I gave it 4 stars. It pulled me out of a reading slump. It is so different from so many other kidnapping thrillers that I've read. It's written in a kind of trippy, disorienting way, almost like Bunny by Mona Awad, that really puts you into the mind of this woman who is absolutely stricken by grief. She cannot concentrate on anything. All she cares about is finding out what happened to her little girl. And when you find out what happens, oh my God, it is a lot. Also in the month of November, I read Confessions on the 745 by Lisa Unger. This thriller follows a woman who finds out that her husband is cheating on her and just basically word vomits this story to a woman on the train. And the woman on the train confesses back that she is actually a mistress. So they have kind of conflicting interests and they form this weird kind of friendship based off of this confession, and they're kind of trying to understand each other, and you learn that there's more to the story and their meeting might not have been so coincidental. And I know you think you probably know just based off that synopsis what happens, but I guarantee you don't. It is literally so crazy. I gave this book 4 stars. It was a little too crazy and unbelievable for me at times, but it was very entertaining, and I listened to this on audio from Libby while I was cleaning my house, and my house was sparkling by the end, I swear, because I just kept finding things to clean so I could keep listening to the book. It was very, very suspenseful and thrilling, and I had to keep listening to find out what was happening. But ultimately, the ending was a little unbelievable and wild. So not my favorite thriller ever, but definitely not a bad thriller at all. If you like twisty domestic thrillers about relationships and cheating, I know some people like really love those type of thrillers, that's definitely for you. Also, this month I read Be Not Far From Me by Mindy McGinnis. I started this a while ago on an ebook on my phone, but then I ended up not liking reading it that way. So I ended up listening to the rest of it on audio. And this is a YA horror kind of survival story about a girl who gets lost in the woods on a camping trip with her friends. And she has to survive for, I think, like 15 to 20 days or something like that, alone in the wilderness. It was very suspenseful, and the body horror and gore was definitely effective, but the YA voice of our main character was very annoying. She was very, I'm not like other girls, and really annoyed me the entire time. It didn't annoy me as much when I was reading the ebook a couple months ago, but I feel like maybe the audio narrator was just so freaking annoying that it made me hate the main character. So there were definitely points where
I was like, girl, just die out there in the wilderness because I don't like you.
But overall, the survival story was very enthralling, and I wanted to know what happened to her. But also, she was very like,
I'm not like other girls, quirky, I'm poor, and so that makes me not like other girls.
I don't know, it was just like very weird. She was like fetishizing the fact that her family didn't have money. I don't know, it was very weird. She's like,
on one hand, I don't want to feel like a charity case, but on the other hand, like, I'm a bad bitch, come mess with me in my trailer park.
And it's like, I don't know, I didn't like her. I hated her, and I gave the book 3 stars because I thought it was horrifying and their survival aspects were very interesting to me, but at the same time, that main character voice, I did not like her. Next up, I read Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. This is about a woman caught in an abusive marriage, and she ends up killing her husband. And this is not a spoiler, this is on the like little flap right here. But she ends up killing her husband, and she's waiting for the call when the police find his body and tell her her husband has committed suicide. But unfortunately, that call never comes. Instead, a missing persons investigation begins because his body has gone missing. So either she didn't kill him all the way and he got up and walked away, and now he is probably going to find a way to ruin her life, or someone else found his body and is blackmailing her. Or something else, which you would never predict. And this book is crazy. I absolutely love this book. It's a new favorite for me. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so twisty and amazing. Our main character, as well as the other perspective that we're following, which is a female investigator on this missing persons case, both of those characters are immaculate. I love both of them. They're both strong women. This book has a lot of strong feminist themes, and I really appreciate that in the thriller genre. there's also a true crime podcast element to this book. So it really has everything you could ever want in a thriller. It is like Pretty Girls meets Behind Closed Doors meets Brother. I know that's a lot, but I mean, this book is crazy. It's one of my favorites of 2020. I cannot believe this is a debut, and I highly recommend that everyone goes to read this book. You can get it for $10 as an add-on on Book of the Month, and if you use my code down below for your first Book of the Month, you can get it for $9.99 as well, so go get it. I highly recommend this book. It is so good. And the 15th and final book that I read this month of November 2020 was The Night the Lights Went Out by Karen White. I did read it physically, but I don't have the book with me because that's another one that I gave to my mom so she could read it after me because I did enjoy it that much. I actually got sent this book by Caroline Johnson. Thank you so much, Caroline, for recommending this book and sending it to me. I loved it so much. I gave it 4.5 stars. It follows a woman who has to move to kind of this ramshackle cottage on the edge of town because her husband has been cheating on her and they have just divorced. So she moved into this cottage with her 2 kids and is kind of trying to start over her life and figure out who she is as a person on her own without her marriage. And weird things start happening. She kind of gets caught up in this suburban mommy drama, and you guys know that I love suburban mommy drama. This book reminded me so much of Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty and Happy and You Know It by Lauren Hankin. If you like those 2 books, you will love The Night the Lights Went Out. They have the same kind of mommy suburban rich people drama with a little bit of social commentary and a lot of like sarcasm and irony, which I really appreciate. But this book is actually set in Georgia, so it's a southern setting and the writing is absolutely gorgeous. The way that things are described is beautiful. I took a long time reading this book because I was really enjoying the actual writing, not just the story. And that really reminded me of Where the Crawdads Sing as well. So if you like that, you will like this. The story ended up being really predictable, so it wasn't quite twisty enough or unpredictable enough for me as an avid thriller reader, and that's why I knocked off a 0.5 star, but I still gave it a 4.5 because I absolutely loved the writing, the story, the character development. I love this book and I can't wait to read more from Karen White in the future. So that is it for every book that I read in this month of November, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. Don't forget to like this video. What am I doing? Don't forget to like this video if you liked hanging out with me as much as I liked hanging out with you, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.